Hey everyone, it's Tyler, and I didn't think I could like a lens as much as I like this one, the Nikkor 50mm f1.2. Here are the basics. This is Nikon's fastest lens currently in production. Yes, they still make this lens. It features a wide open aperture of f1.2, and its minimum aperture is f16. It's a manual focus lens, and it's heavy, weighing in at 12.6 ounces. This is an all glass and steel beauty from Japan. So why the 50mm? It's been kind of a growing love. At first, when I started photography, I thought it was a little too tight, but now, over time, it's become my favorite focal length. Around 10 years ago, when I started learning photography, I did it with this guy, this tiny 50mm 1.8 manual lens. I used this lens on an old Nikon N2000 film camera, and it served me quite well. I used it again on my Nikon D90 when I made the jump to digital. When I upgraded to the Nikon D610, I was going to leave manual focus in the past, so I got this guy, the Nikkor 1.8G. What does G mean? Well, it means gilded. When you're looking at the lens, you'll see a focus ring, but no aperture ring. The aperture is actually controlled by the camera. On the side, you'll see a switch for manual focus and manual and autofocus. So you can override whatever the camera thinks it's seeing. In October of 2018, I upgraded to the Nikkor 1.4G. Now, it's a nice lens, don't get me wrong, but it didn't really move me the way I thought it would. And I think I really got caught up in the whole talk of this is a professional lens and you need a professional lens. So it kind of seems like a step backwards to go from the modern optics of today's lenses and of course autofocus to go back to manual focus. I've taken a big interest in video lately, and the smooth manual focus of that f1.2 lens was a big draw for me. But maybe more so than that was an eagerness to just get back to my roots, get back to how I started photography, manually focusing and turning that aperture ring. And also, I mean, look at this lens. Even though I was excited about getting back to manual focus, I was a little apprehensive about it too. But using this lens, I really enjoy the challenge of getting focused on my subject. Nikon does allow you to use these old lenses, and they even offer a focus assist to help you. With this lens, when you nail a focus, it is razor sharp. I guess that's why this is still Nikon's sharpest lens at f2. Likewise, the depth and bokeh you can get with this lens is especially dreamy. Maybe it's old glass, but I love the way it handles lens flares. With this lens, you can really embrace them. The build quality of this lens is unlike any of the other ones I have. It's a tank of steel and glass, and it feels good to hold, it feels good to shoot with, and best of all, it feels great to turn that aperture ring again. Like with all things, there are some positives and there are some negatives. Here are some of the negatives about this lens. The bokeh balls. At f2 and onward, the bokeh balls become quite hexagonal. Now at f1.4 or f1.2, things round out a little bit more. But it can be extremely difficult to get a shot at f1.2 because the depth of field is so razor thin. It's not impossible, but it's easier said than done. The minimum focus distance of this lens is kind of a downside. I'd like to be able to get up a lot closer and get those detail shots, but you really only have 1.5 feet to work with. I was a little let down to see all the chromatic aberration, especially at those wide apertures, but keep in mind this lens is from the 80s. Some people might argue that this is a dislike, but I love the vignetting on this lens. At 1.2 and 1.4, it is pretty harsh, but f2, f2.8, starts to clear up a little bit. And if you still don't like it, you can remove it in Lightroom. Obviously, this lens will work with Nikon's DSLR lineup, and it will even work with their Z series cameras as well, with the help of the FTZ adapter. But there is a catch. Even after inputting the lens information into the non-CPU menu, it will not read the lens's aperture. It also will not provide you with a focus check in the viewfinder. However, the Z series EVF will give you a pretty accurate view of your final picture, and it also offers focus peaking to help you. Priced at $699, that's a pretty big risk to take for a semi-exotic lens that doesn't have autofocus or the modern amenities of today's lenses, but I'm so glad I took that leap. That's my review of the Nikkor 50mm f1.2 lens. Feel free to give me a follow on Instagram @Tyler, and if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go take some photos.